Hello and welcome to Voice in the Alexander Technique. I'm Allison Taylor, and this is part 2 of your sense-able body, self-regulation and the Alexander Technique. So thanks for coming back. If you haven't already seen part 1, be sure to pop back over for a more detailed explanation of your inbuilt self-regulation process, as well as an activity that you can try when you need to reconnect with your body after a stressful moment. In this video, we'll talk about the impact of prolonged low-grade stress on your body, how to recognize when you're in a stuck pattern, and how embodied work like the Alexander Technique can help you to slow down, do less, and reconnect with yourself and your body. We will also do an activity together that will support you to recognize the interconnectedness of your thoughts, feelings, and physiological self. So let's get started. Remember that self-regulation refers to your ability to manage, adjust to, and recover from extreme situations. This can include emotional and psychological self-regulation, like positive self-talk, and physiological self-regulation. Self-regulation for your body, like breath awareness and gentle movement. Self-regulation can be a conscious or unconscious process. When we have persistent experiences of stress, it can be taxing on your whole being, taking a toll on your emotional, psychological, and physiological well-being. We can get stuck in a habitual pattern of responding to stress, even after the stimulus is no longer present. If you think back to the bunny and the fox story, where the bunny is chased by a fox and then finds safety in its hidey hole, where it can shake and dispel that excess energy. If the bunny keeps having a persistent feeling that the fox is appearing, even though there's no fox, the bunny can have a response to that threat, even after the fox has disappeared. In other words, if we have a bracing response to a stressful situation, we can stay in that brace or stiffening even after the situation has passed. So this stuckness can mean that we might be functioning outside of our window of tolerance or outside of our optimal arousal recovery zone. From here, we may push ourselves to do more or work harder when what we really need is support and rest. When we become dysregulated in this way, we're unable to take in new information. For example, this can impact your learning process or how you encounter a challenging email. We may also not be functioning physically in a way that we're used to. So we may not be experiencing efficient singing coordination, for example, if we're in a constant state of muscle tension due to being stuck in that pattern of a stress response. We may not be able to safely lift heavy objects if we're bound or braced without knowing it. Your nervous system connects to all of your organs and tissues and your automatic survival functions. So with your own hands, just travel around your torso slowly to feel the places where your nervous system connects. This includes your heart, your lungs, your voice, your digestive system, your stomach, and all of your internal organs, your liver, your kidneys, and your limbs. So it also impacts your muscles, motor function, and coordination. When you are dysregulated, all of your systems are impacted, including your circulation, breathing, sound-making coordination, aka singing and speaking, and the ability to express yourself fully and effectively. Muscular coordination can also be affected, especially if your system takes you into a protective holding or a compressed body posture when it perceives a threat to your safety. And every person is different in how we respond to perceived threat based on our lived experience. In short, when you're attempting to do something as complex as singing while dysregulated, you may find that pushing or trying harder or practicing more is not working anymore. You may need to attend to your whole self-regulation first. Cue the Alexander technique. The Alexander technique is an example of an embodied work that can help you to self-regulate by teaching you how to slow down, do less, and reconnect yourself with your body. The skills of pausing, sensing, awareness, and redirecting attention that you learn in Alexander technique lessons can support you to recalibrate after or during periods of overstimulation and stress, including helping to regulate your nervous system to bring you back to your optimal arousal recovery zone. Through verbal guidance and subtle hands-on support from your Alexander teacher, each session supports you to bring new awareness to your whole self unity. We use simple everyday movements like sitting, standing, walking, lifting, and lying down to illuminate the interconnectedness of your thoughts, actions, and muscular coordination. We explore anatomy to clarify how you're constructed, to remind you how you can work with your human design instead of against it for optimal efficiency of movement. We investigate how your attention and intention are inseparable from how you function in the world, so that you can better understand how to work with yourself rather than against yourself. You will gain tools to help you ground yourself so that you can come back to being a receptive listener who can respond with flexibility and awareness in a wide range of situations, including day-to-day activities like doing dishes and brushing your teeth, as well as specialized activities like singing and teaching. So here's an example. You may discover that you've been working harder than you need to while you're singing. Imagine you yourself or a student or client in this situation. In the Alexander technique, we call this goal-oriented, perfectionistic, over-efforting way of being end gaining. And it's fairly common that people get into this loop of end gaining and get in their own way. It's a pretty common example of the way that we do that without even knowing. Your new awareness of your end gaining, if you're this student, this singer, coupled with an embodied experience, for example, of how your shoulders relate to your hips and pelvis, this new awareness has a releasing effect on your whole torso and on your breathing mechanism, and also seems to be releasing something in your jaw, which gives you a new experience of singing with more ease and availability. In learning to allow things to happen rather than doing them, you get out of your own way and can be more available for expression and emotion, aka the business of singing. So even though we weren't working for it directly, as a byproduct of this whole self expanding and awareness, you may also experience increased vocal range. Or you may also experience, as a bonus, access to new resonance. Or you may also be aware, as a bonus, that you have availability for longer phrases. So at this point, it feels important to me to make a quick note about posture. So when you start to unravel your habitual responses, be it to stress or even just learning something new, and you begin to notice how these responses have been impacting your body, you may find that you experience postural changes as a result of your new awareness and new way of using yourself. So while improved posture is not a goal of this work, it's not something we work for directly, you may experience this and other benefits from working on yourself in this new expansive way. This is another great example of the paradox of awareness. Often when we pause, get out of the way for a moment, there's an availability for change to happen without us having to do something or work for something directly. So this way of learning using the Alexander technique can support skill acquisition and excellence in a way that includes your whole self. After a series of Alexander technique sessions, many people make new discoveries about themselves. This could include postural changes, as I just mentioned, reduced back pain, relief from pain, muscular tension and stiffness, breath awareness and ease, experiencing more ease working at the computer, having an expanded attention span and increased focus. They may notice that they're responding to stress and anxiety with more flexibility and availability, improved balance and coordination, an ease of movement and mobility, particularly in the joints. You may be able to prevent injury. Whatever your reasons for exploring embodied work, such as the Alexander technique, whether it's an interest in learning about your anxiety, addressing postural concerns, or investigating vocal issues, you will undoubtedly gain new perspective about your innate wholeness, which, in my humble opinion, is always a good thing. So to close this video, we're going to finish with an exploration together that's going to explore the interconnectedness of your thinking, feeling, sensing self. So we're going to try an exercise together that will maybe give you some new awareness around how your thoughts influence your physicality. So to do this, you can be sitting or standing. You can be walking around your space. You may even wish to rewind and try this section again in a new coordination or a new shape. So I'm going to invite you to either stand or sit. And you may be doing movements while you go through this activity, or just receiving and noticing what happens in your body. I'm going to give you 3 phrases to say silently to yourself. And I'd like you to notice what happens in your response to trying on each of these 3 phrases. I want to thank Imogen Ragon, Alexander technique teacher, colleague of mine. I want to thank her for the inspiration for this exercise. Okay, are you ready? The first phrase is, I have to do it right, and I have to do it fast. I have to do it right, and I have to do it fast. I have to do it right, and I have to do it fast. Notice what happens for you as you try on this thought. Okay, and then just wipe that one off, shake that one off. The next thought is, I can't do it, I give up. I can't do it, I give up. I can't do it, I give up. Notice what happens in you as you respond to this thought. Come up out of that one, shake that one off, wipe it off. The final thought is, I am at ease in myself and I have all the time that I need. I am at ease in myself and I have all the time that I need. I am at ease in myself and I have all the time that I need. Notice your response to this thought. And then shake that last one off. wipe that one off, wash it out of your hair. What other words or languaging feels familiar to you in these three territories? Is there an image that comes to mind or a character? I have to do it right and I have to do it fast. Is there a character or an image that comes to mind? I can't do it, I give up. What character comes to mind from comics or movie or television? And I am at ease in myself. I have all the time that I need. What image or character comes to mind? It can be helpful for students or clients that are having difficulty trying on these thoughts to find the support of a character to get into these grooves. It might be interesting if you're a bit experienced with this experiment to try it while walking around the room, or if you're working with a vocalist, to have them sing while in each of these territories and see what they notice. Something may be familiar to them about each territory that can give them some insight into their own holding patterns or habitual ways of being. In the Alexander technique, we call this interconnectedness of thoughts and feelings and sensing psychophysical unity, whole self togetherness, whole self integration. So we often think that our thoughts are separate from our bodies, but often something is arising in the body first and arrives in the thoughts or the cognitive self second or later. So there's a unity to how we are as humans. We may not always experience ourselves like that. So we've come to the end of part 2 of the self-regulation and Alexander technique series. Let me know in the comments what did or didn't resonate with you. And if you'd like access to a free self-regulation resource, be sure to put #self-regulation in the comments below, and I'll get that freebie to you right away. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you found something new about yourself to take into your creating and teaching. Stay tuned for upcoming videos about your nervous system responses, where we'll explore both the sympathetic and the parasympathetic branches of your autonomic nervous system. And you'll learn that your responses go way deeper than the familiar fight, flight, and rest, digest, calm mode. There's a whole range of responses in between, and there's comfortable and uncomfortable aspects of both. So I hope that piques your interest and that you'll join me for the next series. Go back and watch part 1 of this series if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Thanks again.